Hello and welcome to Breathwood. My name is David Yates and today I'm on a roll, so here comes another video. I want to offer this idea which I've shared at least once before, but I think it's really important to emphasize. Circular breathing is not actually circular breathing. You cannot breathe in and out at the same time. It doesn't work. If that were possible, then singers could circular breathe. But anytime you take a breath in, that's all you're doing. Anytime you breathe out, that's all you're doing with your breath, with your lungs, with your diaphragm. Breath goes in, breath goes out. If we had a better name, it might be something like circular pressure or circular vibration or circular pushing. If you think of it this way, it'll be a lot easier to get. So the first kind of pressure, vibration, or pushing we get on the didge is from the diaphragm and the lungs, moving air from down below in our torso and out the didge. So you breathe in and you breathe out. That's pressure number one. So naturally, as soon as I breathe in, that pressure stops. It's gone. So if you breathe into the didge, you get a sound, and then you try to breathe in, and it stops, perfectly normal. Don't freak out. It's all good. Okay, so keep that in mind. Pressure number one from the diaphragm and the lungs. Then, of course, you need to breathe in at some point. And so we need to create pressure in an alternate way. That pressure gets moved from down here in the diaphragm and the lungs to here. From the epiglottis, the hangy bit over the back of the tongue, back there, that closes. And this area, from the epiglottis forward, is our new pressure chamber. It replaces the lungs and the diaphragm for just a moment. Often when people are learning to circular breathe, they'll get the right idea, they'll fill their cheeks. That's pressure. That pressure is coming from the diaphragm and the lungs, filling the cheeks. And then they breathe in and the pressure goes away, because the pressure was coming from down below, not up here. So you can breathe out and relax your cheeks and let them fill. That's diaphragm pressure. But then you want to trap that pressure for a moment. I'm no longer blowing from the lungs, but I've trapped the pressure in my mouth. Try it. What do you have to do? I've closed the front of my mouth, which we don't do with the didge, but I've closed the back of my mouth as well, the throat. From an ah position, ah, to an position, that closing of the throat helps you trap the pressure up here. Now pressure comes from the muscles of the face instead of the muscles of the diaphragm. Close the throat, squeeze the face. You have a few ways to make this squeeze. That's not the point of this video. The main point is close the throat, trap the pressure, use your mouth, use the muscles to push that pressure through your vibrating lips. So, pressure from the diaphragm, pressure from the mouth while you breathe in. But let's say it doesn't work at first. Let's say your sound stops. All kinds of things could happen. A few ideas. One is that your lip muscles have to isolate work separately from the rest of your mouth. And a lot of the time, our mouths are very coordinated. When we talk, the tongue, the voice, the breath, the throat, the lips, they all work together, almost as one unit. If you think about a ventriloquist who tries to talk without their lips moving, they're separating their lip movement from their speaking, from all the other actions of speaking. Didgeridoo players are more like a ventriloquist. Everything that we do, we have to do it without the lips being affected. You got to try to keep the lips doing what they're doing the whole time, vibrating. No matter what you do, if you inflate your cheeks, the lips keep vibrating. If you close the throat, the lips keep vibrating. If you use your voice or your tongue, the lips keep vibrating. So that has to be separate from everything else. And separating the action of those muscles from everything else takes time. As you improve with circular breathing, one of the things you're improving is your ability to isolate those muscles. Also, as you improve, especially if you move from high back pressure didges to low back pressure didges, you're improving the efficiency, obviously, of the way that you push air. A high back pressure didge almost kind of pulses back at you a little bit, and it helps keep your lips vibrating. It's like maintaining this pressure valve. The air doesn't just rush out, it's held back in your face a little bit, helping you do some of the work. You take that away, and it's gone faster. That means more of the circular breathing is happening inside your mouth instead of using the pressure of the didge like an extra valve. If you can picture, like the valve on an air mattress, it's like you've got one right here, and it's like you've got a backup one right here holding the air in. So there's this middle little extra area of pressure holding the air back. Lower back pressure didgeridoos don't have that, so all of the circular breathing is from here back in your mouth. The way to improve that is to shift from less cheek-based breathing to more throat-based, because it's easier to isolate your throat from your lips. I can move my throat all day long and my lips aren't affected. One way you can test this is by doing it without the didge. But try to buzz your lips like this, and then expand your cheeks, and keep it going. I personally am really bad at that. Maybe some people can do it. If so, their isolation is better than mine. As soon as I try to inflate my cheeks without a didge, vibrating my lips, I lose it. The didge is helping with the isolation by blocking off the lips in the center or the side from the rest of your cheeks. Does that make sense? This pressure here of the sides of the didge separates the cheeks from the lips in between. So if you're having an easier time circular breathing on a low back pressure didge, you've either isolated around that point on your mouth so that you can independently move your cheeks, or you've moved your breathing more internal to the throat / tongue. So a good practice for that, buzz your lips and circular breathe using your throat. I have some videos on this. Look up Breathwood throat circular breathing. One final thought is that initially when we learn to circular breathe, we think we need, and thus we use, a lot of air to create pressure up here. Really fill it up like a balloon and really push it all out. Eventually, most of us feel and learn from experience that very little air is needed. You don't need a face full of air to circular breathe. You need just that much, just the tiniest push to keep it going. Which means you need less back pressure to hold your air back because you're taking less time to circular breathe, because you're only circular breathing with a tiny bit of pressure. So just the littlest amount. I always tell people to sip air in through their noses, like you're sipping wine, just a slight, not like a, that doesn't work so well, just a gentle. So if you're improving at circular breathing, especially on lower back pressure didges, you've probably learned naturally, you've felt it, you need less air to keep the vibration going. You need a shorter moment of pressure. And that's connected to rhythm, because rhythm often includes circular breathing. You're breathing with less pressure, less air, more often. So instead of a long rhythm and then a long breath, you're breathing all the time. In all the time. And if you're breathing too much in, getting too much air, one of the other secrets, which I've also talked about before, is breathing out sometimes. And I think the most advanced level is to breathe only as much as you need. I'm not at that point. I end up with too much air sometimes. So sometimes I breathe out. So all the way back to the beginning of this video, what was the idea? Circular breathing is not possible. It's the wrong name. It's circular pressure or circular vibration or circular pushing. You push from your lungs and your diaphragm, then you push from your mouth for just an instant with only a little bit of air, only a little bit of pressure, just for a short moment, and then you're back to pushing with your diaphragm and lungs. That's the way to approach circular breathing. If you can shift your thinking to that idea, circular pressure, I think you'll get it a lot faster. But of course, if it doesn't make sense, you have questions, please post in the comments below. Feel free to post videos of yourself trying it. Send them to me directly through one of the, you can sign up for my email list. You can find me on Facebook. Send your videos to me directly if you want some feedback. Sign up on Patreon to get some much more dedicated one-on-one support and to vote for what I cover here next. And check out the other links and such. There's a lot there. There's a lot. I'll let you just go explore. Thank you so much for watching, and happy playing, and I'll see you again very soon.